Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. And with the recent announcement of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I'm so excited about, I thought it would be fun to take a look back on the 2D Mario series, take a look at every game that has Mario in the title and is a 2D platformer, and rank them just kind of obviously according to my opinion, my favorite to least favorite. And yeah, just have some fun here. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in. These are just in kind of random order right here. And hi, you can see my face again. Still trying to get used to doing videos like this. So first up here we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Now, I have really good memories with this game when it first came out. This was the second New Super Mario Bros. Game, and it was the one that introduced simultaneous co-op. You could play through the whole game with up to 4 people, and that was a lot of fun. However, I don't often like going back to it these days just because I feel like there are better options, as we'll get to. So I'm gonna throw New Super Mario Bros. Wii in the... I'll throw it in good. And you know, that's the thing, none of these games are bad. Like, there isn't a bad 2D Mario game. You literally can't go wrong with any of them. So that's why this list is very, very opinionated. This is all my opinion. And just what I consider to be my favorites are going to be going up at the top in the, you know, perfect and amazing section. But next here, we have the original New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. And man, this game came out back in, what was it? I think 2006? And this was a big deal at the time because it was the first original 2D Mario game since Mario Land 2. But yeah, New Super Mario Bros. 1. I think this is a really good one. You know, the New Super Mario Bros. Series does get a lot of hate for, you know, it's lacking in originality as the series kind of went on. But the original New Super Mario Bros. Is really cool. And it actually did have a lot of originality, a lot of original bosses, and so I'm going to put it above New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I'm going to put it in the great section for now. Okay, and I guess we're getting all the New Super Mario Bros. Games out of the way first. This is tough. New Super Mario Bros. U. I remember when this one came out back in 2012, and it was exciting to have a new Mario game to play on my brand new Wii U at the time, right when it came out. But this was when I started really feeling that New Super Mario Bros. Fatigue. However, I have gone back and played this one again recently, and I actually had a really good time. Like, the level design in this game is so awesome. I played through this snow level here that I'll put up on screen, and like, I just played through the level like running nonstop the whole time. Like, nothing got in my way, and it just felt so good. This is a really good game in terms of just the way it feels and the level design. This one holds up really well, so I'm gonna put it in the great section, but one rank lower than the original New Super Mario Bros. Just because it really was lacking in originality at this point with the New Super Mario Bros. Series. I would always much prefer going back to New Super Mario Bros. U after the Wii version, just because the game is really pretty and also has that 4-player multiplayer. Next up, we have a classic here, and that's the original Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. Now, with all of the like NES era and I guess even Super Nintendo era 2D Mario games, I grew up playing them all on the Game Boy Advance. So that does kind of affect the way I rank them, but you know, obviously, it would be a bit redundant to put like every port that's ever existed on this list as well. We'd be here for hours if that were the case, comparing all those minor differences. But just Mario 3 as a whole, every port is taken into consideration here. Man, I remember getting this game on the Game Boy Advance back in the day when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and actually playing it in the airport because we were visiting my grandma for Christmas, and I was playing this game in the airport and on the plane, and I just remember getting through that first world and telling my parents I got through the first world in my first day of owning this game, and I thought that must have been like some kind of world record for how fast you can play a Mario game. Obviously it's not, but that's a really fond memory I have with this one. I'm going to put Mario Bros. 3 in the amazing section. It's not my favorite game in the series, but historically, it was at the time a revolutionary Mario game, and it introduced all of the tropes that we see, you know, over and over again nowadays, but this is where it started, so I'm going to put it in amazing for sure. New Super Mario Bros. 2. I don't like this game at all. I think this is the epitome of bland New Super Mario Bros. Because, you know, the original is the original. It was the first new 2D Mario game in a decade, you know? More than a decade. And then you have New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which introduced multiplayer, and it was on a console again. New Super Mario Bros. U kind of just took New Super Mario Bros. Wii and made it even better, and made it really pretty looking in HD. But New Super Mario Bros. 2, I think, is just inferior to all of the other New Super Mario Bros. Games. The coin gimmick that they advertised is, like, not interesting at all. It barely affects the gameplay at all. It was just, I don't know, it was just the most boring of the New Super Mario Bros. It's the least interesting, so I'm gonna put it in just okay. Again, it's not a bad game, none of these are bad games, but it's definitely the least interesting out of all the ones we've gotten to so far. Next up is Super Mario Bros. 2, but not the other one. This is the one that was exclusive to Japan, where it was basically like a remixed, super difficult version of Mario Bros. 1. I remember playing this game on the Mario All-Stars Super Nintendo cartridge back in the day when I first got my Super Nintendo at a flea market in the early 2000s, and I remember thinking, wow, there's this, you know, this Mario game that's like the original that I've never played before, and later I learned, you know, it was always exclusive to Japan, and I thought that was really cool. However, I never really liked this game that much, and it's really difficult as well. I'm not even that good at the original Super Mario Bros., so like having a more difficult version of it just was never that appealing to me. So I'm gonna put Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels actually below New Super Mario Bros. 2, just because, you know, I never really feel the urge to go back to that one at all. Next up, the game that started it all, the original Super Mario Bros. Now, I go back to this one surprisingly often, just because, like, anytime I dig out my original Nintendo out of my parents' basement when I'm there and hook it up, like, this is always the first game I pop in, just because it's so short and sweet and just easy to blast through. It's fun to see how quickly I can beat it. But that being said, when I want like a meatier 2D Mario experience, this usually isn't the one that I go back to. So I'm also gonna put it in okay, even though, you know, I do have fond memories with it, and it is the start of the series. I'm gonna put it in okay. I'm trying to put it in front of New Super Mario Bros. 2. I'm gonna put it there because, I mean, you have to give this game respect. It's literally the first real Mario game, you know, so it has to go above New Super Mario Bros. 2. I mean, without the original, there would be no New Super Mario Bros. 2. So that's where it belongs. And again, not bad at all. I mean, for a game that came out nearly 40 years ago now, or wait, did it come out more than 40 years ago? No, almost 40 years ago now. It still holds up really well. I mean, you got to give it credit for that. And next, we have Super Mario Maker 2 for the Switch. Now, I wasn't really excited when this game was announced, because, you know, I thought Super Mario Maker on the Wii U was cool, and, you know, I had my fun with that game, and I wasn't really itching for you know, another one, but what they added to this game was really cool, you know, and with eventual updates, you know, you could create your own worlds and people could upload their worlds online. It was really fun. One thing that's really, really cool is there was like 100 levels built in So yeah, like even if you play this game 10 years from now when the servers are shut down and you can't access the online content, there will still be those 100 levels built into the cartridge. So and they're really good. So I'm gonna put Super Mario Maker 2 in. I'm gonna put it in great, but I'm gonna put it below these two new Super Mario Bros. Games. I think that works. Yeah. Okay, let's leave it at that. Next up is Super Mario Bros. 2. You know, this is the one that was originally a different game altogether, and then they turned it into a Mario game. This game introduced stuff like the Shy Guys, all these iconic enemies, Birdo, and then it had all these weird bosses and stuff, and really interesting level design. I loved this game when I was a kid. You know, they remade it on the Game Boy Advance and called it Super Mario Advance. It was the first one in that series of Mario remakes, and I played this game so much on the Game Boy Advance, and I have so many good memories with it. It isn't one that I like to go back to a lot, just because there are a lot of games that I much prefer in modern times that kind of scratch that 2D Mario itch for me. But I'm gonna put Mario 2 above New Super Mario Bros. Wii, just because it is really original and unique, and they never made another game like Mario Bros. 2. It has, like, you know, picking up turnips and throwing them and all that stuff. It's still completely unique. They never made, like, a direct sequel to it. So, I'm going to put it there. Next up, okay. This is one of my favorites, and this might surprise people, but Super Mario Land 2, I've talked about this game in so many videos before. I'm going to put it in perfect. I love this game. It is one of the most original and interesting Mario games ever, 2D or 3D. It is so good, and it has so many interesting level themes. There's a Halloween world, there's a world that's like all toy themed, there's like Legos and stuff in it, and little teddy bears walking around. It's super cool, super interesting. You go to space in this game, you shrink down and go into a house. There's all kinds of interesting level themes, and I'm really excited because the trailer that they showed for Super Mario Bros. Wonder that's coming to the Switch in October of this year, it's looking to take a page from the Mario Land games just in terms of how wacky it looks, and I am so excited for that. So yeah, Super Mario Land 2, that's a perfect one for me. I love this game so much. And next, kind of going in reverse order, we have Super Mario Land, the original. This is a tough one because I really like how unique this game is. I really like, you know, all the weird enemies and stuff. And both of the Mario Land games have really good ROM hacks available now that put them in full color, which makes them even more enticing to go back to. But Super Mario Land 1, definitely not as good as 2, but I still really like it. But yeah, just the gameplay just isn't as tight as a lot of other games in the series, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna put it in good, right below Mario 2, I think. Alright, the original Super Mario Maker for the Wii U. I was into this game when it first came out. It did some things that Super Mario Maker 2 didn't do well. Like, I loved all of the costumes that they kept adding into the game, and Nintendo would release all these themed levels. Like, there were costumes for, like, really obscure characters, and they unfortunately didn't do that in Super Mario Maker 2, but now you can't access any of that stuff anymore because all of the Wii U servers have been shut down, sadly. So booting up this game now, it gives you an error message, and then you can just do the 10 Mario challenge, which is the Nintendo-made levels. And even the Nintendo-made levels in this game, I was playing them a bit to get footage for this video, and they're not really good. They're not nearly as good as the levels that they put into Super Mario Maker 2. So playing the original Mario Maker now, it just doesn't hold up. It's barely even a functioning game anymore. So it has to go it has to go at the bottom, man. You know, Nintendo, they killed it. They killed it in a bad way, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, sorry, Mario Maker 2, but unfortunately, it's been replaced by a good sequel, but a sequel that is, you know, missing some features that I miss. So it sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, next, Super Mario World. This was, man, I played this game so many times as a kid. I just never got tired of it. The amount of times I would play this game and just restart it and play it over and over again. If there's a game that I have too many hours in, it's probably Super Mario World. Like, I wish I could keep track of how many hours I put into this game just across every system I've played it on. This one has to go in perfect. This one has to go in perfect for sure. It's crazy that I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it's just a classic. It's just that good. But you might notice I put it below Super Mario Land 2, and that's just because Super Mario Land 2 is just so unique, and I really look for that uniqueness in games. And I'm starting to look at my list now, and I'm like, why is Mario 3 the only one in amazing? Should I put them all at the top? I definitely don't like Mario Land 3 as much as these two up top, so I'm gonna leave it there. It can be in its own category for now. Actually, no, I know what I'm gonna do. Okay. Next up, okay, these last two, I put these in, you know, just to make it more interesting, because they both have Mario in the title. First, we have Mario Land 3, which is actually the first Wario Land game. But I mean, Mario Land 3, it's right there in the title, so I put it on the list, you know, just to make things more interesting, because I feel like I haven't seen anyone else include these next two games in a lot of their 2D Mario discussions. So, you know what? I included it, because I really love Wario Land. I think it's such an underrated game. And you know what? I'm gonna put it in amazing, even though it is very different. You know, and when I'm craving a 2D Mario game, Wario Land might not be the first game that I pick up. You know, I might go to a new Super Mario Bros. Game, you know? But this game is really good and deserves a lot more love than it gets, so I'm putting it in amazing, you know, what the heck. And finally, I saved a big one for last. Last we have Super Mario World 2, also known as Yoshi's Island. And it is just so funny that they called this game Super Mario World 2, because, you know, and same with the Wario Land series, it's like nowadays they're just their own thing. And you know what? I don't care, because Yoshi's Island is by far my favorite 2D Mario game ever. I love this game so much. Every level in this game is completely unique, completely interesting. The graphics are so beautiful and colorful, especially for the Super Nintendo. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. If you haven't played Yoshi's Island, the original Yoshi's Island, it's just a masterpiece. And when I saw the new trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I was looking at these beautiful backgrounds that they had, and it was so colorful, and there are all these unique enemies and stuff like that, and all these unique level gimmicks, I was just like, they're finally getting in touch with that creativity that they had back in the 90s with Yoshi's Island and Super Mario Land 2. This is what I love about Mario, and this is why my whole life I've always been so disappointed with, like, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, because in the 90s we had these amazing games like Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World, the Mario Land games, where they were just so interesting and had all these, each game had really unique level themes and stuff like that. And then after New Super Mario Bros. 1 came out, they just kept doing the same thing over and over again. But now they're finally changing that, and that's why I decided to make this list and look back at the 2D Mario games. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and of course, let me know down below how you would rank all of the 2D Mario games. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm stupid for putting Wario Land and Yoshi's Island on this list? I can see why you'd be mad at me for Wario Land, but Yoshi's Island, I don't know. You know, it was even part of the Mario Advance series of remakes. So I think it deserves to be up there at the top for sure. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.